y'all, welcome back to another stream. Let me change the size of the sheet real quick. Okay. But yeah, welcome back to another stream. Just like it said in Instagram, this is the last stream for November. So it's the last novel writing stream, at least the last scheduled, quote-unquote scheduled novel writing stream. But honestly, it'll probably be the last novel writing stream that I do in a minute. Anyway, without further ado, oh yeah, I keep saying without further ado and then I backtrack. I'm sorry, y'all. But we are going to go ahead and we're going to get to the writing, and that'll be like right quick. But I will say that all revenue goes to DJ, rounded up, so I'm not like sending them like 65 cents or whatever. It's actually 81 cents right now, but I digress. Rounded up, and then that'll be on top of my own donation, which will be like I think $25 this year. So I'll be basically donating $27 because I'm going to double up what y'all did. And so, but yeah, go ahead and feel free to lurk. It's a short stream tonight. I'm going to be upfront about that. Hubby is currently cooking, and once I get the word that dinner is almost ready, or is ready, then I will be jumping off. As far as the story is concerned, we are in the home stretch. I know where I'm going to go for ending the story. I actually thought of a new plot twist last night, but I'm kind of iffy on that. Need to workshop that a little bit more. But for now, we can start moving the chess pieces where they need to go, so to speak. So, let us go ahead and get to writing. Like, actually, it's writing this time. So, last couple of, just making sure, like when I started, because I was fiddling with another scene last night, things were messed up today, so I was just making sure that nothing else there was a couple things that were messed up, but I fixed most of it. Tinker's smaller than before, but I actually like the new size, so I'm going to keep that. But I am rambling at this point, so apologies. But yeah, so last we left off, I don't remember if I wrote this on stream or if it was after, but the company that Farah and Nick were riding with ran into some, I call them ambushers, and they took their food, took a couple of their weapons, and basically demanded that Farah and another woman, the strong woman of the group, stayed behind and sent the rest off. And now we're in Nick's point of view, and he's thinking, oh my gosh, I gotta save them. And that's where we're at, sort of. So I'm going to go ahead and read back the last few paragraphs. These aren't very long paragraphs. He bent down and reached into the inside of his boot. The dagger was intended for herb collection, but a blade was a blade, right? He slipped the small blade out of the boot and began to make his way back down the path. Wait, where are you going? Came a concerned voice from behind him. Nick paused mid-step. Where was he going? Was he someone wholly untrained? Really about to go back and fight the group of men that had just scared away, that had just threatened this, the handful, yeah, a small handful of people. That would be a death sentence. That would be marching straight into death, wouldn't it? Farah had said was true, they'd be following anyway, and everyone would be dead. Everyone in the Ano tribe knew that. That's why they were pressing so hard to make it up. Make it up the pathway. He had no connection to these people other than being present when they found the stream, and having the good fortune to be invited along by them. He swallowed, though if what Farah had said was true, excuse me. Of course, it's the writing. It's the writing bug, right? I write and I yawn. He had no connection to people other than being present when they found him and having the good fortune to be invited along by them. He did not need to stay with them any longer. And he certainly didn't need to protect them. Like he said he would protect Farah. But what if he could do both? He turned slightly and gave a bit of a grin to the couple of people who had stopped to inquire about him. I'm going to go back to make sure there's no one following us. He said, "You don't need to wait for me." The Iona pair glanced at each other, certain expressions on their faces. "If you're sure," the woman asked. Certainly. I am. He smiled. If they are following, you'll be next, so you'll be the next they run into after me, so you might want to hurry and get with the others. Tried to sound. He tried to sound authoritative. Something he imagined elderly Young would have sounded like. Right. That's what Bear said. Grabbing the woman by the wrist. Starting to continue along this whole path. It was nice to meet you. Make of the Sarogi. May our paths cross again. Alright. Excuse me. Oh. It wasn't long after that Nick started to hear footsteps coming up the pathway. Luckily, this portion of the foothills, luckily the path wound to this portion of the foothills, so he had time to duck behind a boulder as the steps got closer. I want to click around on my browser so badly. Like, I've got a billion things open. I don't remember why they're open. But that's fine. I'm focusing back on this now. Just long after that. Sorry, first I was going up the pathway. Luckily, well, which portion of the foothills do I talk? He was tempted to peek out and see who the footsteps belonged to, but he knew that if he tried, the approacher would likely see him too. And that would be the end of things. No, he had to stay put until he was certain the person had passed. Then he would look. If oh, excuse me. If it was one of those people, then he would catch up and fight them. He wasn't sure how. He might just try to aim for the knife in the throat, like he had seen. Similar to how Vera dispatched the Karlathian soldier. He shuddered at the memory, at the unbidden memory, at the memory. He did it. It wasn't something that he had wanted to relive, but the moment made it necessary. Oh, excuse me. long. Or I don't want to do names right now. Names hurt my brain. Phillied. Take rope. From Sam. Samuel. He heard his snake-like voice grumbled. Nick's eyes went wide. It was the person. It was the person. The ambush. He started. It was the person in the ambush. He knew he needed to steal his nerves. But at the same time, fear of fighting. Fear began to overwhelm him. Maybe he needed to steal his nerves, but at the same time, the fear began to overwhelm him. Could he do it? Could he do it? What if the guy attacked him first? Was there a better method he could do? I said you could have gone ahead while we waited. Another voice interrupted the healers. Your monologue. Wait, there's two? Nick panicked. Wait, there's two? They panicked. Is the entire group coming up here? He tried to control his breathing. And listen. He heard the footsteps, but he couldn't tell how many people there were. To him, it just sounded like one person. At this point, they had passed him. Maybe it was safe to look. At the very least, he thought to himself, he could provide a nice distraction, maybe even be loud enough for the Iono tribe to hear and hide. It was now or never. This is mostly for me. Now or never. Alright. How many tabs do I have on it? Jeez. It was now or never. Sucking in some trail where the group had just passed him. There were 4. That meant that 2 had stayed behind with Farah and the other woman. Whatever happened to them, he would have to wait and find out. Right now, he needed to take care of this group. Somehow. Oh, Lord. I've got ideas, though. I've got ideas. It's not all bad news. Good ideas. Okay. Right now, he needs to take care of this group somehow. You, he called out, stepping from behind the boulder. He called out in as much of a threatening voice as he could scrape together as he stepped out from behind the boulder. The four men paused and turned to face him. Hey! One of the men said, recognition lighting up his face. It's the guy who gathered the food for us. Come to join the winning team? He asked mockingly. What am I doing? His mind kept repeating in a panic, even as his feet began to step confidently forward. Nope. Meanwhile, trapped in between the actions, the thoughts and the actions, the voice, his voice found no outlet. Alright, so to my Twitch viewers, we do have an ad coming up in about 5 minutes. Sorry. Something with my dashboards is acting up too, but I'm not terribly worried about that. And honestly, if I would probably skip the ads, but I also need them, so thank you for your understanding. Anyway, what was I doing? What am I doing? His mind kept repeating in a panic, even as his feet began to step confidently forward, trapped in between the thoughts and actions. His voice found no outlet. What are you doing? One of the men asked, cautiously. He even stepped back. He even took a step back as he asked. Guys, guy's got a knife. A third man commented. Just a shear. Just a herb shear. First man scoffed. It ain't gonna hurt us. It's not strong enough to do anything to us, he declared. These men are scared of me on a weapon. Nick could feel his breath coming out more ragged, even as he drew within feet of the group. Finally, he stopped and stared at them. What? He looked at the knife in his hand. Couldn't use it. He had no heart to use it. Instead, he tossed it to the side. Tossed it to the side. I mean you no harm. I mean you no harm. He went with what he felt like he was best at. Talking to people. This might not be the best move. Might not be the smartest move. Maybe it would allow for, this might not be the smartest move, but maybe it would allow for some sort of distraction, if nothing else. There was no telling what would happen with this plan of action, but he knew that attacking them, especially when they outnumbered him, was ill-advised. Would lead to even worse outcomes. Then why are you sneaking up on us? The fourth man asked, putting his hands on his hips. On his dips. On his hips. I got scared and hid. Nick said it wasn't a full truth, but neither was it dishonest. I got, after you passed, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. He said, his voice halting at moments as he tried to explain his thought process without mentioning tech. I knew I wanted to at least speak with you, if I could. The first man cocked his head to the side. Here, first man cocked his head to the side, opening the eyebrow, coming up as he did so. Talk about what? What are you going to do to my friends? He asked. That drew a collective. It's also night, isn't it? I forgot about that. It's fine. That drew a collective collective laughter from the four men. Finally, the first man said, "Are you sure you really want to know? It could haunt your dreams." Nick set his mouth into a thin line. It could. He agreed. But I need to know. I was told that you take women and force them into slavery and parenthood. Is that true? No one forces women. Take the babies. Don't let them see them again. The babies are ours. Theirs. Then the babies are ours, not theirs. He explained. We need to grow our tribe. This is how we do it. The babies are ours, not theirs. We need to grow our tribe. This is how we do it. In the lesser privileged. He almost sneered. As he explained to this rookie healer. This must be beautiful to understand. Nick furrowed his brows. You're right, I don't understand. I'm sorry. fun to a Deus Ex Machina and have the fire rescue everyone, but we are definitely getting too close to that point where the fire's going to be catching up. You're right, I don't understand. I'm sorry. I do know that. You're right, I don't understand. I'm sorry. One of the men waved his hand dismissively. Well, now that that's settled, you can go back to gathering herbs or whatever it was you were doing before we scared you off of the path. I can't do that. Nick found himself saying, "You're going to try to talk us out of the agreement you all made with us." One of the other men challenged. I think it's possible. Another round of laughter came from the four men. It echoed. It echoed in the forest. It echoed in the forest. At least, at the very least, it was certain that the Iono might be hearing this, needing precautionary precautions. All the points. Another round of laughter came from the four men and echoed in the forest. At the very least, Nick was certain that the Iono might be hearing this and taking precautions, just in case. So you're saying there's nothing we're saying to convince you to return those words to us? Yes. Maybe he could get them to laugh louder. Or yell. Or even tell them what he could tell them. Or even acknowledge that there was a way to save them. Unfortunately, the laughter stopped. You're too naive. You need to last. You're on your own. Was she? Okay,
Just show you it's
braggadocious.
possible.
I'll let you do it from now on. Love my husband. Alright. Next choice had question. I just want to get them back. Get them back if I can. Well, you can't. The first man stated bluntly. His hands also going to his hips. So why are you still trying to talk us into it? To talk us into it. Nick shrugged. Some people change their mind. Change. Mind. Conversation. He said. That time, another bout of laughter came from a couple of the men. Even if you somehow manage to convince us to let them go, and you definitely haven't done that. If you somehow manage to convince us to let them go, and you definitely haven't done that. It's not up to us. The man said in a sing-song voice. It's not up to us. You're just following orders? Nick asked, all too familiar with how sometimes orders can just feel plain wrong. Something like that, sure. The man shrugged. Restaff. Man shrugged. Something that sure. You gotta do what's good for the tribe, you know? Even if there aren't any standing orders. With bargaining for food and hated to use the word slaves. The action was not lost on Nick, who took a step back. What about me? I could become a slave. I can heal and patch your wounds. Just let me know. You can't heal or patch your wounds. You can't increase your tribe numbers. Another peal of laughter. You can't increase the tribe numbers. Let's try. But if I can heal you, then there won't be many premature deaths. You tried to argue. The men looked at each other. Then one stepped forward, crossing his arms over his chest and regarding Nick skeptically. You're going to have to speak with Kershaw, he said gruffly. We told you. Not our choice. But maybe he can make use of you. Oh, we got 3 viewers. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and switch to half of the page. Alright, just a reminder, y'all, though, I am streaming until dinner is ready, or I get word that dinner's almost ready. So, I don't know when that's going to be. But just so FYI, I might have to end abruptly. Don't you know our choice? Maybe he can make use of it. Ooh, okay. Now, next chapter, chapter 54. We're back to Thera's point of view. And I want to reestablish that it is nighttime. The night had fallen quickly, with almost complete darkness in the sky. Normally, Thera could at least pick out oh my gosh, I can't type. Sorry, y'all. Pick out at least 1 or 2. Oh my goodness. 1 or 2 stars. From where she was sitting. only saw a slice of darkness between the trees and the land. After Nick and the Iono tribe had ascended the path into the foothills, Sarah and, oh shoot, I gave her a name yesterday, Misket? Sorry, I'm gonna jump back a little bit, y'all. Miket. Oh, I was not too far off. Sarah and Miket were held at Arrow Point while one of the men ran to an unknown location, likely where the Skeena tribe was holed up, where they normally form preparation for the fires. After Nick and the Iono tribe ascended the path into the foothills, Sarah and preparation for the fires. It took a while for the runner to return. When they did, they brought rope and bound the woman to the tree. The cat asks Farah in a low tone. One sec. Once they were bound, relatively close to each other, the cat asked Farah if they could take us to the tribe. Oh, wait. Once they were bound, and one of the captors had wandered off, leaving the two women relatively alone. Used a low tone and a whisper to ask Farah if I could take them to the tribe. Farah mimicked the tone and responded, she had been asking herself the same thing. Even when they were at Arrowhead, would have been forced to belong to the tribe encampment. Similarly, they were bound. And definitively unable to fight back, they could have been led at that point. Instead, they were bound to the tree. Are you planning on having this? Right now, though. Hey. Yeah, she said. Another group comes along. This completely contradicts what the guy said above, but you know, two things can be true at once. She had been wrong. Her motivations choices. That's when she noticed a group of 4 men ascend the hills after the Indiana tribe prospered. Were they going to ambush them? Girl? She knew what she had told Nick.
almost done to fall off now.
Okay. Save everyone somehow. Alright. So, the timer went off, which means that dinner is almost ready, which means that I am going to go ahead and wrap it up here. So we went from chapter 18 to chapter 54 during November Writing Month, which is pretty dang good. If I do say so myself. In this stretch we wrote, let's see, in this stretch, or in this portion of the book, we wrote 59,000 words, so almost 60,000 words. And that's with a few days off for, personal and mental health things. So that's pretty cool. And so on top of what I've already written for the story, the first half, that's like over 110,000 words. So go me. Like I said earlier, though, I probably won't be finishing this up on stream. We'll see. But yeah, my next step is to get the story wrapped up, and then I can procrastinate editing it. That's always fun, right? But yeah, thank you all so much for joining me on this path. It's been great. I am going to give Twitch a few days to finalize the revenue numbers, and then in about a week or two, I will donate the money to babydj.org and post a receipt, at least in Discord. And then I won't be streaming daily anymore. I will be trying to stream on a weekly basis on Saturdays. Just going back to gacha games and just the story mode of those games. We've been doing Grand Blue Fantasy before Novel Writing Month, so I think we'll go back to that. And I think that is it. Just again, babydj.org is the charity that I support. If you feel the need to support them, I do highly recommend that you go to babydj.org. If you need the actual link, let me know. I'll throw it out there for you. And there's ways that you can volunteer if you are in the Central Florida area, or you can donate through PayPal or Venmo. Alright guys, it's been a blast, and I will see you next week. Bye!